course. Perfect.
All right, there we go. And like I said, I'm Adam. I'll be your student physical therapist. And
Great.
so Irene, it's nice to meet you. Can you just take a few moments to explain what brought you in today?
Yeah, so I have started training for a marathon, which is a lot more than I've ever done. And it's been probably 7 weeks now that I've been doing it. And a few weeks in, started getting this pain farther into my runs, and I could kind of run it off, but then it started creeping up, and now I can't even honestly hit the ground without this dull pain on the outside of my right knee. I'm just getting kind of stressed that I'm not going to be able to finish my training.
Okay. So, and that would be your goal then, is to finish training and compete in the marathon?
I'd like to, honestly, even if I can't do the whole thing, I'd just like to be able to get back and kind of manage this pain.
Okay. Have you had an official diagnosis, or are we your first stop?
You are my first stop.
Okay. Kind of based on what you're telling me, it seems like you have everything you're saying would indicate you have what's called IT band syndrome, especially if it's on the outside of the knee or on the inside of the knee.
It's on the outside of the knee.
On the outside, and it happened. I do have some of your history here from what you filled out earlier. Yeah. So what that is basically is it's really an overuse injury. So the extra running has kind of aggravated it. Kind of like if you take your finger, if you flick it once or twice, it doesn't really bother it. But if you do that 100 times a day over and over, it's going to get really sore.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same way we treat these overuse injuries, is to relax the amount of activity that you're doing. And because you want to stay, I'm assuming I should say, you want to stay in pretty good shape and hopefully compete in the marathon as best you can. I do have a few ideas of something you can do, but you're probably going to have to stop running for at least a little while to let all of that tissue calm down. I'm sorry, the connection might be a little messed up here.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So, do you have any questions so far?
No, I'm just really wondering like what I can do in that time.
Okay, and have a few ideas for you. And one of the things that tends to happen is our hips tend to get kind of weak, and the knee is stuck between the hip and the ankle. So if the hip or the ankle, which definitely seems unrelated, if one of those is weak or not working right, the knee takes the brunt of it. Okay. So one of the ways to help with IT band syndrome is to strengthen your hips.
Okay.
And let me know if you can't hear anything I'm saying.
I can hear you perfect.
Okay, perfect. So, and one of the things that happens when your hips are weak is your knees tend to cave in. So I drew this really nice graphic to show you. So a knee where your hips are healthy, it kind of looks more like this, where you don't have that much of an angle. And if your hips aren't strong enough to hold you upright, you get an angle more like this. This is your hips and your foot, and that's the knee. So what we're trying to do is strengthen here to get this to look more like that.
That makes sense.
And if I'm going to share my screen with you, because I brought up a couple different exercise ideas that I think will be very helpful. And I also think that because and don't think of weakness as a bad thing. It's just a muscle that's maybe not working correctly.
Okay.
I suppose it doesn't sound well either, but
I know.
So what we want to do is give you a couple exercises to start with to help strengthen the hips, and kind of like to do those in more of a hypertrophy or strengthening zone, just to strengthen them and then worry about endurance once they get stronger.
Yeah.
So I'm going to share my screen. Oh boy. Never done this before, so you'll have to bear with me. I think this This will only share one screen, won't it?
Yep, I can see it.
Okay, do you have the Choose PT screen up right now?
Yep.
You do? Okay, awesome. So one of the exercises that should be quite helpful. Oh, no, it's not. All right, this is not going to work correctly, I don't think. This is different. Sorry.
That's okay. I can always describe them to me.
Okay, perfect. That one of them would be a clamshell exercise. If you've ever seen that, that's you lay on your side.
Bent knees on the side.
Yes.
Yep.
And then one that's a little more difficult is you staying on the side as well and just lifting your leg to the side with a straight leg out to the side. Sometimes it helps to lean up against a wall so that your back stays completely flat.
Okay.
And you can also do that. Do you have access to a gym by chance?
I do, yeah.
Oh, perfect. One exercise that's very good. You may not be able to see me that well, but if you take and you go to the cable machine, put the cable stack all the way to the bottom and stand straight up.
Yep.
And just pull your knee to the side with there's little cuff things that go around your ankle, and that will actually work both sides simultaneously. I think those would be pretty good places to start.
Yeah.
And if your gym I do think you need to quit running for at least a week, but probably closer to 2 or 3.
Okay.
Cycling may not bother your IT band, but it may. So you'll have to try that. But another mode of exercise that I think is pretty good would be if you go on YouTube and just look up Tabata workout.
Yeah.
It's 4 minutes. It's very intense. And that's the whole point of it, is to work really hard. It's 20 seconds on as hard as you can go, 10 seconds off, 20 seconds on as hard as you can. I would avoid any of the exercises that have you doing any deep squatting, just to hopefully let that IT band heal okay.
Okay.
But the Tabata has been proven to increase endurance and explosiveness. So that could be something that kind of holds you off until you're able to actually run again.
Yeah.
And those are just 2 ideas. Those are things you can try. And there's a stretch called the IT band stretch. Whether or not it is actually stretching your IT band is up for debate. But it's either IT band stretch or ballerina stretch. Stand up, cross the side you want stretched in front of you, and you just lean over. That's why I learned it as a ballerina stretch. Okay. Does that make any questions?
Yeah, those all seem easy enough.
And if you really want to do something that's painful but can potentially help loosen that IT band up a little bit, this hasn't necessarily been proven, but it feels good after you're done, is you're seeing these. It's a foam roller. Was that a yes?
Yep.
Yeah. Think you know what I'm about to tell you. You put it, don't go over the bone where your hip is, but just all the way right under your hip bone and all the way to your knee. And just lay on it. And when you find a spot that's really tender, sit on it for a few seconds longer. And you can do that before you work out, even, to kind of part of a warm up and part of loosening everything up. And all right, do you have any questions on anything I just went over?
I don't think so. You really covered it all. I really appreciate it.
All right, thank you. And I think our 10 minutes is just about up. So yes, have a good day.
Perfect. Thank you, Adam.
Thanks.